Can we ever really get enough of Gordon Ramsay? The man is everywhere.
Jimmy, you've got to put a little bit of effort into it.
I'm sorry, I'm putting effort into it.
Stop being lazy. Let's go.
If not on TV, he's giving us a crash course in gourmet cuisine online. Even if you don't find him there, you'll definitely be seeing a lot of him on Twitter.
In 10 seconds, you've got this beautiful minced garlic on the back of the knife.
Here are some of our favorite and some of his most savage interactions with the tweeple of the internet. For more iconic Ramsay-related videos, hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Pete.
This looks like ground beef and potatoes.
All Pete wanted was a little attention from the master chef himself when he tweeted at him. The least he could do before he hit that send button was to snap back to reality and carefully go over every decision he made in his life that led up to the confidence to put this so aptly called disaster online. Sucks for Pete. Sucks for Gordon Ramsay too. Imagine having to look at that while you scroll through your feed as you wait on a lunch that is probably 10 times better than this unappetizing mush right here. You can almost hear the apprehension in the fact that this dish was meant to be a steak in the first place.
Oh, what did you expect? Did you really send this picture thinking he was going to like this?
ALEXIS. Oh, ALEXIS. With the rice, the sriracha, and possibly every veggie on the planet stuffed into imperfect alignment and imbalance onto a wheat tortilla? Ugh. Also, do you dig the Valentine's Day theme? We sure don't. You know what? Maybe she didn't try hard enough. Even Gordon isn't even close to impressed and sort of echoes us in the tweet. It's the most candid confession of the year. It's because of this taco that Chef Gordon Ramsay is not a vegetarian. Jamie.
This is just an old school struggle meal right here. This is old-fashioned struggle.
Look at this plate. Just take it in for a second. Crinkle-cut fries, mozzarella sticks. Those two work well themselves, we must admit, but then tossing them up like a salad onto a plate of beans? Like, you couldn't have put it on the side in like a bowl or something? Are you for real, Jamie? Did you even try? Thankfully, Ramsay agrees with us on this one. It totally makes us very, very sick too, man. And not in a nice way, but in the worst, most twisted way possible. Jolly. This one isn't that bad, right? Everything seems to be in proportion and in place. The only reason this looks slightly better is because everything isn't mushed up into one thing. Pineapple ham. Whatever. The peas could have been better too. Tomatoes, fries. But wait! Those eggs? How can eggs be so fried and dry at the same time? Congratulations on slaving away 4 hours of your life for some dry eggs, Jolly.
They look like they got the yolk in them still, damn!
Another Jamie. Sometimes tweets can be read as pure poetry.
You know we charge by the letter.
I can condense it down a little bit.
This favorite in particular came from what can only be described as a hopefully hot mess. There's a leg of chicken there, or maybe it's salmon. Either way, it's falling apart much faster than my life, so that's reassuring. To the untrained eye, this just looks really ugly and very hard to digest, even as an image. The one thing that we couldn't put our finger on was the one thing described as pure poetry. Who stole your asparagus tips? Lost for words. Is by far one of the most iconic, honest responses on this list. Alex. Now, this one just hurts to the bone. Alex here really did try with his limited ability to impress the man. Down to the mustard smudge and precise angling of the store-bought hors d'oeuvres probably on sale for 2 for $1.
It's dry. It's shards of dry chicken.
3 stars, right? And the smiley face? Definitely turned upside down the minute he read GR's savage response. Look at the build-up on this one. You've got a great future in my industry. That's good, right? But then he hits hard with the truth. As a customer. No ice or cold water is going to help Alex or us, for that matter, to recover from this sick, sick burn. James.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
An idiot sandwich, Chef Ramsay.
Oh my god. That is a sandwich? It's like someone vomited chopped up veggies in someone's pocket. Imagine each uneven, extra crispy, and most times proteinless bite, and then out of nowhere, there's meat, and the next thing you know is that your sandwich is split and everything has fallen apart. Now, the one thing that has us confused is this. Is it the sandwich or the man that assembles a sandwich the source of one of Ramsay's most iconic moments on television? Our vote is both.
You need to take 2 slices of bread and stick them on your ears. And that's what you've got. An idiot sandwich.
Pass.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Now, this one is plain creepy, but too good not to put on this list. While it's not really weird to hit up your biggest celeb crush with the creepiest of message that they'll never see, sadly he had to see this one too. The call to action here is extremely straightforward, and possibly one of the biggest curves the internet has seen. To the point and so unnerving, mostly because of the full stops from a man that is trying to keep it together because of the barrage of tweets like these and more. But can we blame her? Have you seen his chest? And do you remember that lamb sauce episode?
Where's the lamb sauce?
She should have gotten some sort of a grade for being meta. Tyler. If you've ever taken a look at Gordon Ramsay's cooking videos, you know what goes into the food is love, patience, and effortless that comes together in a pleasurable, minimalistic plate.
Point the knife down, flip through.
And if you're a dad, then it's just expected of you to be effortless, minimalistic, no fuss, and very patient. Tyler here asked him an honest question, like any fan would. And Gordon Ramsay, the icon, the master chef, couldn't help but let loose the dad within that seeps out only on MasterChef Junior in sweet, poignant moments we are all blessed to have witnessed after Hell's Kitchen. He just tells it as it is. How does one get his autograph? With a pen, of course. Ian. Now, it's almost as if they're baiting him. Undercooked-looking meat was probably a bit too much for the sensibilities of this sensitive chef. And in addition to those atrocious feet in the frame, of course he was distracted. It's almost as if what little garnish exists on those wings eerily resembles what could possibly be ashy residue from ashy-looking feet. No wonder Gordon Ramsay himself is so worried about Ian's feet. Like Chef said, disgusting. Seriously? Kelly. Now this one was a little surprise. Unlike uninformed food chompers like us, professionals know exactly what's wrong with just one look. We didn't catch on soon enough to be repulsed. It was probably that strawberry, or fresh-looking raspberry. But Chef Ramsay knew what was up, so precisely put, making us want to take many steps back from this pleasant-looking platter. What's the weird squirt on your plate, Kelly? Thank God he caught it in time. What even is that squirt? CORALTAE. We're all but too familiar with school lunches and how horrible they can get. From burnt rubbery roadkill to something trying to pass off for a slice of pizza. It's about time someone did something about it. So, when Twitter user CORALTAE tweeted at Gordon Ramsay in what can only be described as youthful exasperation, we were surprised by the reaction. It wasn't a savage tweet, but it was also some pretty relevant critical commentary. Coming from the master chef himself, a man who has cooked for people from all age groups and walks of life, from little kids to seasoned adults, he knows what he's talking about. And when he says he's seen prison food that looks better than this, we can almost hear poor CORALTAE's cries of sadness and only hope something was done about that barely there slice of cheese, along with absolutely no seasoning or even the slightest amount of condiment. John.
Oh, this one's from an actual restaurant.
Oh, John, come on. Sure, he's kept his asparagus heads on, and his shrimp look fine, we guess, on a skewer and everything. But it's definitely an eyesore. What in the world is that rice? We know how old it is, though. Gordon was kind enough to elaborate. Older than me, the master chef himself. Who even cares if the portion is small? The food is busy walking into the grave at the cemetery next door, one sprained footstep at a time.
I'm sorry, it's just funny to me.
Evan. Really, Evan? Sure, it looks juicy and incredible, but who in the world is going to want to tilt their head sideways for a bite of brunch? Now, if you believe it's super easy to bite into this, you're either lying or a boa constrictor, the only reptile capable of unhinging its jaw in order to eat prey bigger than its mouth. Chris. Chris really tried, all right? The poor kid probably thought this was his day, and was definitely proud of himself and his wondrous creation of poached egg in a noodle soup. The title speaks for itself. The colors, not so much. Maybe, just maybe he shouldn't have burst the yolk before he put this picture online. There is no way in hell that this should have been allowed in the first place. Where were his parents to protect him from the wrath of Master Chef? Apparently too busy to prevent their kid from getting slayed with one sentence. Looks like toxic scum on a stagnant pool. Yikes. Everything heard after reading that, and it wasn't even our tweet.
Gordon Ramsay is so damn popular. When you look up toxic scum in pool, this is actually the image that comes up. Good God Almighty.
We hope you like this iconic compilation of Savage Ramsay tweets. What's your favorite Gordon Ramsay tweet? Let us know in the comments and hit that subscribe button for more on Ramsay. Plus, stay tuned for more of our other awesome videos too.